World War II was a time of immense conflict, but it also saw the enactment of laws that profoundly shaped German society under Nazi rule. These laws were not only shocking, but often dehumanizing, aimed at controlling and manipulating the population in ways that would seem unimaginable today. In this video, we explore some of the most shocking laws enacted in Nazi Germany during the war and the terrifying impact they had on the lives of millions of people. 1. The Nuremberg Laws, 1935. One of the first and most significant legal acts by the Nazi regime was the Nuremberg Laws. Passed in 1935, these laws were a set of racially discriminatory statutes that laid the groundwork for the systemic persecution of Jews and other minorities in Germany. The Nuremberg Laws had two primary parts: the law for the protection of German blood and German honor, and the Reich citizenship law. The law for the protection of German blood prohibited marriages and sexual relationships between Jews and non-Jewish Germans, making it a criminal offense for anyone to engage in such relations. The Reich citizenship law stripped Jews of their German citizenship, effectively making them stateless. This legal framework was the first step in legally segregating Jewish people from the rest of German society, marking them as second-class citizens. These laws had a profound psychological and social impact, creating an environment where discrimination was not only accepted but mandated by the state. By establishing a legal basis for racial purity, they paved the way for more extreme policies in the years that followed. 2. The Enabling Act, 1933. In 1933, just months after Hitler became Chancellor of Germany, the Enabling Act was passed, one of the most significant pieces of legislation in the Nazi rise to power. Officially titled the Law to Remedy the Distress of the People and the Reich, the Enabling Act gave Hitler the authority to enact laws without the Reichstag, German parliament, approval, effectively dismantling democracy in Germany. This law granted Hitler absolute power, allowing him to govern by decree, bypassing all other branches of government. The Enabling Act was a critical step in consolidating Nazi control over all aspects of German life. With this law, the Nazis could imprison political opponents, suppress free speech, and begin systematically eliminating any opposition to their regime, all without any legal repercussions. 3. The Law for the Prevention of Hereditarily Diseased Offspring, 1933. One of the most disturbing laws passed under Nazi rule was the Law for the Prevention of Hereditarily Diseased Offspring, enacted in 1933. This law was part of the Nazis' eugenics program, which aimed to create a racially pure Aryan society. Under this law, individuals deemed to have genetic defects, such as those with mental illnesses, disabilities, or hereditary diseases, were forcibly sterilized or subjected to euthanasia. Hundreds of thousands of people were sterilized under the law, and the program of forced sterilization led to widespread human rights abuses. The law was not just about eugenics, but also about social control, using the power of the state to determine who was deemed fit to reproduce and who was not. This law, along with others in the eugenics program, further demonstrated the extent to which the Nazi regime sought to control not just the political and social life of Germans, but their very biology. 4. The Night and Fog Decree, 1941. The Night and Fog Decree, issued by Hitler in 1941, was a law that gave the Gestapo and SS the authority to abduct people from the occupied territories of Europe without any legal process. Those accused of political crimes or resistance activities could be taken without trial, and their families often wouldn't know what had happened to them. These people were often disappeared, never to be heard from again. The night and fog policy was named for the fog of secrecy that surrounded the disappearances. It allowed the Nazis to remove perceived enemies or resistors without leaving any trace of their actions. Thousands of political dissidents, resistance fighters, and innocent civilians were targeted by this decree, further terrorizing the populations of occupied Europe. It was a terrifying law that turned everyday people into potential targets of a regime that sought to crush any opposition. 5. The Law on the Protection of German Blood and German Honor, 1935. In addition to the Nuremberg Laws, another law that had lasting consequences on German society was the Law on the Protection of German Blood and German Honor, also passed in 1935. This law prohibited marriages between Jews and non-Jews, along with sexual relations outside of marriage. It also banned Jewish people from employing German women under the age of 45 and restricted Jewish people from serving in certain professions, such as the arts and civil service. This law's primary goal was to enforce the Nazis' belief in racial purity, using legal means to break apart Jewish German families and segregate Jewish people from the rest of society. Its impact was profound, as it led to widespread social division, alienation, and economic restrictions for Jewish families. The law marked a turning point in how Jewish people were viewed in Nazi Germany, no longer just an other group, but a target for systematic oppression. 6. The Reich Labor Service, 1935. The Reich Labor Service, 𝐼, was established in 1935 as a mandatory service for all young men in Germany. The law required young men to spend a period of time working in state-controlled projects, including construction, farming, and infrastructure. While the RAD was originally presented as a way to help combat unemployment and provide jobs during the economic struggles of the 1930s, it was also a means of militarizing and controlling the youth of Germany. The RAD provided the state with a source of cheap forced labor while simultaneously instilling Nazi ideology in young men. These labor camps helped support the Nazi war machine and shape the next generation of soldiers and workers who would go on to serve the regime. Although it seemed like a solution to unemployment, it was actually another way for the Nazi regime to consolidate power, enforce conformity, and mold the minds of young Germans to align with their goals. 7. The Euthanasia Program, 1939 to 1941. Perhaps one of the most shocking and chilling sets of laws enacted by the Nazis was the Euthanasia Program, which began in 1939. The law allowed for the forced euthanasia of people who were considered unfit for society, including those with physical and mental disabilities. These individuals, who were often living in hospitals and care institutions, were deemed to be a burden on the state and were systematically killed through lethal injections or gas chambers. The euthanasia program took the lives of an estimated 200,000 people before it was officially halted in 1941. This law revealed the depths to which the Nazi regime was willing to go to implement its vision of a racially pure society, one that excluded anyone deemed inferior, sick, or weak. The shocking laws passed during World War II in Nazi Germany were not just tools of oppression but a systematic effort to reshape society, break down individual freedoms, and enforce a deeply dangerous ideology. These laws devastated lives, tore families apart, and created an atmosphere of fear that permeated every aspect of German life. They remain a powerful reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of safeguarding human rights, freedom, and dignity. So that will be the end of today's episode. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this one. Thanks for watching.